Sponsored by the Big 98, Nashville's #1 for new country and the home of the Bobby Bones Show.
The Rocket Review is happy to have on a guest that has been on the show several times before, master guitar builder and partner at Taylor Guitars, Andy Powers. Thanks for coming back on the show.
Hey, it's my pleasure to be here or there or wherever we are.
Yeah, I always prefer it when I get to see you in person because, whether we're at a jam show or in the studio or wherever, you and I always have a fun time jamming. But you've been busy, with a brand new launch, the American Dream series. And I love it that you guys took the name from the first shop for Taylor back in 1974.
Yeah, it was an interesting challenge because back in February and March when we saw this kind of global pandemic start to unfold, one morning I literally woke up and I looked at my cell phone and thought, man, probably 75% of the telephone numbers in here that belong to my musician friends, every single one of them is out of work.
Yeah.
What the heck are we going to do?
Mm-hmm.
What are all my friends going to do? And that led me down this train of thought. I went, well, a lot of musicians are going to be reconsidering their needs, what they need out of a guitar.
Right.
And our heritage as Taylor Guitars, things are always difficult. They're always tough. There's always challenges that we face with. We were born of adversity. In fact, the very first day we were officially in business back in 1974, the American Dream shop flooded. So the very first day was, oh boy, here's where it goes, So I've heard those stories from Bob and Kurt time and again. And so this felt like going right back to the beginning all over again. So we went, okay, well, what can we do? What is our response? Well, our response is let's build a guitar. Let's work. Let's work harder. Let's put something together that has the kind of rugged, rustic character that we're built of. That's what people are going to come back to and what they need for playing their songs. The song is the thing. We need those songs and that music more now than ever. So we wanted to build some guitars that were appropriate for that.
Well, and what I always appreciate about you, Andy, too, besides your great vision for building guitars, is that you're a musician also, and you write songs and perform out when we get to do that again. But, with the American Dream series, what I admire about it is that they're still made out of solid woods. You guys have the thinner finish. They have, a few less of the cosmetics, but they're designed to be workhorses. I mean, you've got 3 models that are based on the Grand Pacific design, which I love also. And I think, what a great concept to be able to offer a guitar like this, to musicians like myself and yourself, to where it's like, you're looking for a workhorse. You're not looking for something, you're looking for something you can throw in the car and still write songs with and feel good about.
Yeah, the entire vision for the guitar was born of this idea that a musician's going to look for something different. They're reconsidering their needs. I mean, now is not a time for filigree and frills. This guitar has the personality of a cup of black coffee or a pickup truck or something. It's going to get you there and it's going to get the job done. But it's very heavy on what we call the essentials. What are the essentials for a musician? I want the guitar to play great. I want the guitar to sound great. I want it to serve the needs of the musician. But in this case, a lot of the ornamentation, the precision inlay work, and those real decorative, elaborate details that take so much time and effort to do, well, now is not the time for that. Now is not the time to be putting your efforts there. The time now is let's put great instruments into the hands of a musician and let them play their songs, whether that's for their immediate families, whether bedtime songs for your kids, whether songs for your neighbors in the backyard around a campfire, or whatever floats your boat. Now is the time when we need people to be playing music, and we wanted to build some instruments that serve just that need.
Right. And I think you've done it. I want to brag also, though, cosmetically, it may not look like, a tricked out Taylor guitar, but under the hood, it's still got the V bracing also. And you guys are offering them with
Absolutely.
the two electronics also, so you can still plug into a PA amplifier and jam out.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that I've discovered more recently is now that so many people are taking up guitar anew or taking a fresh look at it, a lot of people are doing online lessons or some sort of interface between a computer-based system in the same way that we're talking over a cell phone today. And
Right.
for those purposes, this ES2 pickup works really well, whether you're plugging right into a mixing console through a tuner or to interface with a computer for maybe a lesson system or something like that. So even though we designed it primarily for live usage, we've just been discovering all kinds of other equally vital reasons for it to be in there. It's a really great way to connect your guitar into this kind of wider virtual world.
Well, and I think it's still, a great sounding and looking guitar. My favorite is the AD27 since it is the full mahogany. But, you guys are still building these with solid woods, still quality instruments, and they're falling between the 200 Deluxe and the 300 series. It's just a great option, Andy.
Yeah, it's looking again at what's essential for the guitar. So one of the interesting aspects with these guitars is, yes, we are building them here in El Cajon factory with the V-class architecture, all solid wood. Bob and I are even specially selecting woods that have a real, like a rustic character for these guitars, because it fits the guitar's personality, it fits the aesthetic. And these guitars, the combination of the V-class architecture inside and the ultra thin finish, the unique personality of each piece of wood is even more exaggerated than it typically is. Mm-hmm. So rather than grading these woods into very, very tight, narrow ranges so that we have a ultra consistent voice and ultra consistent response out of the guitar, for these guitars, we're deliberately selecting woods that have a lot of personality and character to them, so that every one of these guitars is very individualized. It's got a unique thing. Of course, they're built to a high, consistent standard, but what you get to hear as a player is the uniqueness of the exact pieces of wood that guitar was made from.
And the songs within it. I got to bring up too, Andy, you started building guitars at 7, and then you really started building ukes and guitars and repairing guitars at 13. And then at only 15 years old, Bob Taylor offers you a job. Did you think that you would be in this seat now? Whenever you and I always catch up, and I mean, with the innovations that you've brought to the company since you've been a part of it, such as with the V-class bracing and with everything else, and the GS Mini bass and so many different lines within Taylor. Did you think the young Andy Powers thought that you would be where you are now?
No, I guess I didn't really think too much about it. It's, hindsight's always 20/20, as they say. And so I suppose I'd say I'm fortunate to simply go about days doing the work that's in front of me and appreciating and enjoying that work. So I never had some grand vision of where I wanted to end up in life or whatever that looked like. I mean, heck, I live about 3 miles from the house I grew up in. I didn't make it very far in most respects, but I've always enjoyed music. I've always enjoyed making things. I've always enjoyed combining those two loves in building guitars, building instruments, and watching those kind of come to life in the hands of a musician, and getting to do that in a way where it benefits the communities around you.
I can't wait to see what other guitars you're going to add to this line, Andy. In the American Dream series, you started off with the 3 models, the 8017, the 8017 Blacktop, and the 8027. Do you think more will come out later in the year?
Absolutely. We'll be building more of these guitars. We started with the Grand Pacific body shape because that fits so many different playing styles and so many different musical needs very well. But as we continue with these guitars, we've fallen so deeply in love with building them, we will continue to offer other woods, other shapes, things with this basic concept, because we think this really fills a musical need that a lot of musicians are finding.
I'll tell you what, I always enjoy your constant innovation and forward thinking on the guitar. Andy Powers, thank you so much for joining us on the Rocket Review and sharing with us a little bit about the American Dream series that is out now.
Thanks, Eric. Good to see you.
Sponsored by the Big 98, Nashville's #1 for new country and the home of the Bobby Bones Show.